Good morning. Today is March 10th, 2022, and these are my thoughts. So I've been asking myself lately, what is my motivation for following God? Like, why am I seeking the kingdom real heavy right now? Like trying to walk real heavy in this kingdom living? Am I seeking because I've read about the miracles in the Bible, or because I'm seeing and observing what kingdom living is doing for those that I'm attached to? Am I seeking God for the blessings, like the tangible things that I think I can get out of it? You know, kind of that 2 fish and 5 loaves mentality, if you will. And what he can add to me as a result of seeking. But guess what? What if he don't add nothing today? Then what? Do I lose my motivation? Do I be like, yeah, I ain't gonna follow God today. I ain't gonna be trying to do this kingdom living today. So that's where I'm at. The motive shouldn't be, and this is my realization, so this is me talking. The motive shouldn't be that I want good things from him. That shouldn't be my motive for following God. Because one, it doesn't come for free, if you will. So it's not that I'm getting things because I don't want to follow him, or I want to follow him because I'm getting things. It's going to come at a cost, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It's interesting because sometimes it may be appealing. And again, I'm talking about myself, or convenient is another word that I think I could insert there, to follow God because I want him to bless me as a result of that. But there are some things that I continue to do, even though I'm actively seeking God, that will block the blessing and the prayer, the whatever, the request, if you will, won't make it to God because I'm doing something, or some things, very much some things that I should not be doing. So what, again, is my motivation? So why then, Rebecca, should you follow if not for the blessings? And I have some notes because I was a little lengthy yesterday, not gonna lie, but it felt good, y'all. So I'm trying to not be so lengthy today, but hey, it is what it is. So again, why should I follow if not for the blessings? Like, am I following because of what I can get, or what I think I could get based on something I've read in the Bible, or something I've seen manifest in other people's lives? Listen, God may not act on my behalf sometimes, and I have to be okay with that. Like, he may not act the way that I think he should when a request is made, and I have to be okay with that, which means that my motivation for following God can't be tied to the things or the blessings. It needs to be tied to the man, or the spirit, or all that God is. Can't be tied to, oh, you do this for me, oh, so we good now. I might consider, changing the way I live, changing the way I talk, changing the way I speak to others. But then when something happens, something go down, and then I'm questioning God, like, do I fall back? I have in the past, I'm not gonna lie, but it can't be like that. It cannot be like that. Listen, God could bless us with the very thing that we've been asking for in 1 week, and in the next week, take that same thing away. Am I still gonna have trust? Am I still gonna have faith in him? Because again, the motivation I'm learning is not tied to the things, very much the things. It's tied to who God truly is. It's tied to his word. His word will never fail us. So even within those blessings that we're getting, and we get blessings, real talk, we get blessings even when we aren't living the kingdom walk that we should. We get blessed here and there. We get sprinkles here and there. And it's like, okay, but I'm doing good. I don't have to necessarily stop doing whatever, fill in the blank, because I'm still living a good life. My bills are paid, my needs are met. Get my charger, y'all. Hold on, because this about to get good. And I just got the low battery. My needs are still being met. But just think, if we were to actually do much more than the bare minimum, what does that look like? What does that look like? So our faith, I'm switching gears a little bit to faith, because I think the motivation is tied to the faith, and the faith ebbs and flows based on what's going on in our life. That's been my experience. That's my testimony. So we should not tie our faith in God to what he can do for us. Because guess what? We probably gonna get disappointed every single time. Belief is the name of the game. And when we think about belief, I think we also have to pair that with faith. The motivation should be, because I have faith in the one God sent and not in the things that he does, then I'm good no matter what. My motivation is God is, first of all, he will supply, even if it doesn't look like that on the onset, and it doesn't look like, there's a happy ending, if you will, in the midst of. We're going through it for a reason, and we should not lose sight of what that reason is. And that doesn't change the fact that God is who he says he is, and his word will never fail us. We have to have belief in God, not the activities that he can do. You can't be booed up with God just because of off the strength of what he can do for you. Are we using God then at that point? Are we using the kind of the relationship, if you will, or wanting to have a connection for that reason? I know I can't have that 2 fish and 5 loaves mentality, because that's not going to get us very far. The shift in motivation has to change from things, to him, because things change. Remember, I just said he could bless you with that very thing that you've been asking for, because you just keep asking, you keep nagging, you won't let it go. So yeah, let them have it. And then in the very next week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever the case may be, that thing gets taken away from you for whatever reason. Now it's like, oh man, God let me down. God did this. God allowed this to happen. We love to say that. Excuse me, I'm talking about me. I love to say God allowed that to happen. Check it. Things are temporary, y'all. Things are very much temporary in this life. And those things, again, cannot be tied to our faith and how we choose to deal with God. I'm learning that. God will set stuff up to test our trust in him. Our faith is only as strong as the things it survives. So let me give you an example, I guess, or kind of put it in practical. You don't know how strong you are until you try and lift something that's maybe outside of the norm. You know what I'm saying? Like you try to bench press something, or you try to, add on to your weight gain in the gym, if that's what you're about. You're not as strong, or you don't know how strong you are until you take it up a notch. So you don't know within that faith walk how strong you are until your faith is really tested. And based on the response, then you're letting know God how strong your faith is. And then moving forward, God will get with you accordingly, if that makes sense. Big faith, big test. Little faith, little test. God can't trust us with bigger and better until he knows that we're good stewards of what we have current state. So we can't look future state if we can't do right with the little bit that we have. Because when we do get blessed real big, then what? Then what? And then tie that back to what I've been saying. If God is on your good side, because of what he's doing for you, then what is that saying to him? Like, even if I bless you real big, how are you going to use that to further my kingdom? Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense. We tell God that we believe, right? But do we truly have faith when the going gets tough? Like, that's real cliche, but do we really have faith when the going gets tough? And I know my faith has been tested. I'm thinking right now of Jacqueline Carr-Honey, Jehovah Jireh live version, where she says, my faith is being tested. My faith has been tested, but I'm learning how to get through the test and keep my eyes focused on God, because guess what? God's word has to perform. It cannot return to him void. So if he said it, it's going to happen in his timing, right? It may not come when we want it, but it's always on time. I just got to do what I'm supposed to do as a kingdom citizen. Domain, or have dominion where I'm supposed to have dominion. I'm supposed to not be conformed to this world. And that's one that I'm struggling with. We actually talked about that today. Like, do not be conformed. And I can't tell y'all the verse right now. I really can't. But do not be conformed to this world is the synopsis. And right now I'm doing some things that still have me conform to this world. And it ain't, oh, I'm not doing this, so it ain't that bad. Anything that goes against us falling under subjection to God is bad, because then we knocking out everything that he's trying to do in our life. God could be trying to use you like he's trying to use me, but I'm still messing up, because while I'm making strides in areas to fall under subjection, that flesh still be getting in the way. So going back, y'all, because I think there's a whole nother, like, we can unpack that like on a whole nother day if y'all want to. But like I said, God will allow us to go through storms. He will allow it. But let's be clear that within those storms, he ain't creating them. He's just allowing them. In the Bible, it talks about how Jesus was tempted by Satan. God allowed it. He didn't create that situation. That wasn't his idea. He allowed it. And then from there, he can see, how we are going to handle it. Like, what is the outcome going to be? Are we still going to keep our eyes focused on him no matter what's going on? Or are we going to fall? Are we going to buckle? Are we going to be like, this kingdom living ain't working out for me. I might as well go back and do what I was doing, because at least I was having a good time. Listen, again, our relationship with God should have nothing to do with the things that are tied to or the blessings that can come out of the relationship. It shouldn't matter what happens around us, because God is stable. So that becomes the motivation. We have to shift our trust from the works of God to God. And I'm telling you, I've just been doing this over the last 8 days, 7 days. It's hard, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to switch up. It's hard to change your mentality, the way that you think on the dime. You have to be intentional about it. Like, you have to stop and assess, like, really, why are you questioning what's going on in your life? What are the things that you're doing that are causing you to come into question about what's going on in your life? And this is just me, y'all. Again, this is me. These are my thoughts on March 10th, 2022. But just remember, settle this. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. And that's just even outside of talking about a motivation behind following God. Like, nothing is permanent in life. So we have to be okay with that. Relationships should not be tied to what people can do for you. Like, that's just not right. And I've not always been in that space. I've not always been in that headspace, honestly. But I'm learning. When God takes away gifts and we're left with just the giver, how do we respond? Like, is that enough for you to just be left with the giver, knowing all of the things that he has done for you in the past, knowing how he is keeping you, knowing how he has not allowed you to lose your mind. Now, you may be thinking you crazy. I be thinking I'm crazy sometime and questioning and stuff, but I have not lost I'm not on medication for it. You get what I'm saying? So I have to sit with what he's done for me and be okay with that. Because again, my motivation can't be tied to the things. It's tied to God himself. So that was my last, wow, okay, that was it. So one closing thought that I had is kingdom faith. Again, going back to the faith, which is tied to the motivation. Kingdom faith is in the king, right? Not in the king's gift. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Where is your faith? Remember, your faith is only as strong as what you've survived, the test that you've completed, the missions that you've accomplished. Where is your faith? And consider removing it completely from what God has done in your life. Because if he never does, or he never blesses you with anything else again, are you good with that? Like, are you really, really going to be good with that? So appreciate y'all. I feel like we didn't go as long this time, but that's all right. I still enjoyed myself getting my thoughts out. I hope this was insightful for you. I hope you can relate on some level. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Y'all, as a reminder, I have some videos that I've shared down below. We are on day 8 of our Lent morning manna, where we are walking through rediscovering the kingdom. And this is the expanded version that has the devotionals, the 40-day devotionals in the back. Day 8, amazing, as I like to say. And I'm just learning so much, and I'm taking this opportunity to share it because it's blessing me and it's shifting the way that I think. And I just want to do better, y'all. Like, I've lived life my way, and yeah, it's been good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would say that I live a comfortable life if we want to look at it in terms of possessions and, being able to, not flex, but just, like, look as if I'm accomplished. You know what I'm saying? Like, look as if my family is accomplished. But I know it could be so much better under this kingdom living, under this kingdom citizenship. So it's now like, Rebecca, what you got to do, what actions do you have to change so that it can get better, so that it can be beyond good, so that it can be better than good? Because it can be good. But what are you willing to give up? How willing are you, Rebecca, to die to self, to experience so much more that God has for me, that I have access to? I just got to stop fumbling the keys and open up the many doors to get what I deserve. So with that, y'all, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see y'all when I see y'all.